thank you to everyone who is attending from what looks like all around the world. I am super excited to be here and I'm very excited to talk about this topic, employee wellness, because it is one that's very near and dear to my heart. As someone who's been through corporate burnout, and as a mom of twins and a 7-year-old boy, almost 7-year-old, I know stress and what everyone has been, going through this year. I think we can all admit that we're on pretty much the same page in terms of having to manage multiple priorities with not just workplace shifting, but family life shifting and all the demands that are on us as individuals. So wellness is super near and dear to my heart. So I'm excited to talk about this today with you. And at the end of the day, corporate wellness is all about, ourselves, but about our people. And as HR leaders, we can reflect on where workplace wellness programs have come from and how they've evolved over the years. But I think now more than ever, we are seeing employers invest in the whole employee, and that is really key. So I want to be talking about how we can be keeping employees engaged and empowered. And it's interesting because as a recruiter and a wellness consultant, one of the most common questions I get on the wellness side is how can I keep employees engaged and empowered? And there are certain companies who don't have a wellness program yet in place. I realize we have a mixed audience today, and there are some companies that have a wellness program that may be looking to tweak it. But I want to be talking about different ways, because employee engagement is how enthusiastic, passionate, and excited our employees are about their jobs and about the overall company. So it also encompasses how much effort they put toward their work and how loyal they are. And we want loyal employees, and we want people to be, happy, healthy, and productive. So employee engagement and really empowering people to be able to not only do their work, but to bring their whole self to work is really key. And a recent study showed that teams with high employee engagement rates are 21% more productive. So we want to be driving productivity, and I'm going to go through 4 points that really talk about how to engage and empower your workforce, but also look at, the importance of wellness programs, again, despite where you're at in your journey with your wellness platform. And then, so we're going to start by talking about the why, and then we're going to talk about the how we can make sure that it is engaging. So you want to be considering a wellness program that's scalable, that's sustainable, and that's measurable. So we're going to be covering off these 4 points: how to drive performance. We want it to be reducing health costs, and we know that when we look at our numbers of what we're as companies spending on benefits, there is a rise on claims, and there is all the stats show that stress has gone up in the last year. Burnout rates are increasing, and we want to get those numbers down. We want to foster nurturing and compassionate work environment. So we want to be reducing health costs, future-proofing our bottom line, and optimizing the benefits that we have. So we're going to be talking about that as well. So let's jump in with the first point: driving performance. I think we, again, if I see all your faces on screen, you're probably nodding, because I think we all want to drive performance in our organization. And we do want, I put in here, data-driven and socially engaging experiences, because even though we're physically apart due to COVID, we can still have really engaging platforms and experiences with our employees. So we want to make sure that our wellness programs are set up that way, that they're increasing organizational engagement and not further distancing people. Performance and reduced health risk with a tangible ROI. So look at the platform that you have. What does it offer? Is it doing all that you want it to do? Is it really engaging employees? Is there a social wall? Are you gamifying wellness? Is it tied to your total rewards? Because all of those pieces will drive up engagement. So really, at the end of the day, it's the more that people are engaging, the more your performance is going to be going up. So we want to be driving, again, that lasting behavior through these experiences. And we also want to be reducing health costs. And I thought this is so interesting. 54% of benefits professionals cite employee morale as their most improved metric from employee implementing wellness programs. So again, whether you have one in place or you don't have one in place, wellness is evolving, and gone are the days of putting out one type of offering to employees. We're just having yoga in our office at 12 noon on Friday. Now it's wellness programs and plans are much more comprehensive, and they're including things like career advancement and financial well-being, which is also so key today, and other factors, personal development, which hopefully we'll have time to touch on later. So really having a diverse and really comprehensive and well-rounded wellness program is so important, and it will drive employee morale. So I think that that's really important to note. So let's move on to our next point, reducing health costs. So we all know that sedentary behavior and lifestyle-driven chronic disease and these sort of mounting costs due to stress are costing employers millions of dollars. And we don't want decreased productivity. We want to encourage people to be getting up, to be walking around. We don't want work days lost. Again, that's going to affect our bottom line. And so think, like, how healthy is my bottom line? What are the costs looking like? And what can I do to reduce having unhealthy employees and having healthy employees? So how many people are engaging in the current wellness program that you have in place right now? Because an unhealthy worker is costing you an estimated 2 times of that of an employee who is enjoying good health. So again, we want our employees to have access to a wellness program that's easy to use, that's simple, that's integrated with the other offerings. And we all know how things are on our phone. If we have a million apps, like I don't know how many pages of apps you have on your iPhone, but if there are so many apps on there that you don't know what half of them are, then you're not going to use them. So if your company has, a whole bunch of different things that employees are expected to understand and utilize, it's going to be confusing. So from a wellness offering, have it be accessible, have it be simple and integrated, where it's in one place, it's tied together with benefits and EAP, and so that they can easily find what's offered, what events are happening, what campaigns are going on, how can they get involved. And again, the more they're involved, the more you're going to see the health costs going down. The next point is future-proof your workforce. And what do I mean by that? Great businesses are built by people who work there. We know that. And so making sure that you attract and retain your top talent really has to be top of mind. And I love talking about how wellness programming now is gamifying wellness, because it's like when you play a game on your phone. I'm a Scrabble person, so I play Scrabble on my phone in my downtime. But when you're playing a game with something, or you have a wellness challenge, or you're part of an ultimate frisbee team, or whatever it is, you're socially engaged with another person, whether it's online or in person. So we may not be on a soccer league in a field right now, hopefully soon, but we can have customized fitness and wellness. It doesn't only have to be fitness, but challenges in our organization that are customized to our employees are looking for, that are customized to what's happening in our world right now, and that do bring teams together. And you might have a large organization with people all around the world. You might have employees in Toronto and BC and Europe that like yoga. And when you offer an online challenge, or whatever it is, hydration challenge, sleep challenge, step challenge, it brings people together, and they'll get to know colleagues that they might not know otherwise in different areas of the company, in different countries, that have the same interests as them. So I do think that the latest technology, and I work with a couple of these companies that are constantly updating and having the latest and greatest technology to allow the employee to access it from anywhere, and also see what other colleagues are doing, because that makes it fun, and we want it to be fun for our employees, for them to be engaged. So it has to be easy to use and fun, and obviously accessible as well. That's what our employees are looking for, and that's what we're hearing more and more these days. So at any given time, here's another startling one, 50% of employees are looking for their next job. We don't want turnover as HR leaders. We don't want people leaving and having to constantly replace roles. So we want to keep our top performers by investing in what matters most to them. And again, wellness programs have shifted, but it is about the individual and their overall well-being, and looking at, what matters most to them. And so as a recruiter, I've been a recruiter for 24 years now. When I interview people, I always ask, and this is since the beginning, I would ask, what's most important for you? And if you had multiple offers, what would you base your decision on? And if I reflect back to the late 90s, I would often get money as number one, title, climbing the corporate ladder. And those were the things that I heard most often earlier on in my career. And I'm going to fast forward to the last couple of years. I ask people, and again, because it is a competitive market, and people have multiple offers, and people get approached all the time on LinkedIn and word of mouth. And I ask people now, what's most important to you? And the answers have shifted. I'm hearing flexibility, work-life balance, a company that cares about my overall well-being, sense of belonging and empowerment, enjoying what I do. These are the answers that we're getting. So employees want to feel invested in. They want to feel a sense of belonging and psychological safety, and they want to feel that they have career progression within the company. We don't need more fear with everything going on in our world right now. We want employees to know where their next step is. That's why a lot of companies in their wellness wheels, they've incorporated career development and financial learning sessions so that there's less stress about finances, security, and all these things. And so I think that we need to be looking at what are we offering, and are we in tune with what's happening today and what our employees need today. And so it really is about a holistic approach. And if I ask you what do 75% of employers have in common, the answer is some form of wellness programming. So you want to make sure that yours is standing out from the rest. You want to offer an integrated solution that provides a holistic approach to well-being that's available to all employees wherever they are, and that brings people together. And so the next point, and the fourth on our 4 points here, so we've had driving performance, reducing health costs, future-proofing your bottom line, and now optimizing benefits and EAP programs. I can't tell you how many times as a recruiter, back to my recruiter hat, when I'm recruiting an individual and I'm asking, what's your salary, what's your bonus, what's your wellness offering, what other non-cash incentives do you have? They often don't know what their wellness program offers and how much money they get back for signing up at a gym or investing in wellness, or what meditation apps the company has put out there, what's in their EAP. And so I really think that promoting and communicating all initiatives and having it accessible for employees to find is so key. So using a centralized and easy to access platform is really, really important. And again, as much as possible, integrating so employees don't have to go, 50 different places to find forms and platforms and who to call if I'm having a really bad day, or I'm in a depressed mode and I need help and I want to reach out. How does the EAP program even work? So that really has to be communicated and accessible, because that is going to be at the end of the day what employees are going to be utilizing. And when they're utilizing that, again, we're going to see the benefits of it. So let's talk about the health risk assessment. If we were in a big room and we were all together, I'd say show of hands of who has a health risk assessment. Some people call it a health risk appraisal, in place, and what's the importance of that. Really, a health risk assessment is a well-being solution that's connecting employees with the health services they need. And it really is a win-win, just like wellness programs are a win-win for employer and employee. It takes the barriers down to employee well-being. And so this allows the employer to receive insight and data that can identify what the employee's health risks are, and also customize challenges and goals to lower those risk areas. It allows employees to set recommended goals based on the results. So they can see what their score is, they can see where there might be some preventative health issues, some things that they can work on. If they're sitting too much, here's some things that they can be doing to, decrease that behavior, or improve more walking meetings, more fresh air, whatever it is. And their goals will change, and they'll see that. And again, I think employees are driven when they see they have a clear goal and their score is improving. There's a challenge that they can get involved in. It's going to raise their score. Their wellness platform is syncing with their Fitbit. They don't have to do a lot of work. Their steps are automatically calculated and going into the wellness platform that then ties to the reward. So again, having that health risk assessment in place is really key, because it helps both the employers and the employees. And again, I'm looking at the time here, so I want to be mindful of it, but the insight and data that comes back again is super valuable. And again, we've chatted on this. It identifies your population's health risks, and at the end of the day, it is tied to goals. So let's talk more about employee engagement. It's not just about, again, health and wellness. There are many other ways that we can engage our employees, and I wanted to provide some time for some engagement and empowerment strategies that we may or may not be thinking about as employers. So I'm going to put a list up here and get through as many as I can in the remaining 4 minutes. And I'm sure there's going to be some questions in the panel as well. But these are, again, some other ways that we can be thinking about what we're doing in the workplace and how we can be driving engagement. And another stat that I thought was important is 89% of employees who work in a wellness culture have an improved level of happiness compared to 76% of those who don't. So I do think that it is about culture and a company culture that's supportive and that allows employees to engage in different initiatives. There are companies that are doing things in the community where people feel involved. There are, acts of kindness campaigns going on out there. And I recently did a speaking engagement on meditation in the workplace, which I'm sure we'll touch on during the panel discussion. But the importance of mental health and again, health and wellness from a well-being perspective and looking at all the different areas that how we're taking care of our employees is so important. We want them to be engaged and happy and excited to be at work. But in order to do that, they have to feel their best. In order to engage, they have to feel their best. So the health and wellness, obviously including mental and physical wellness, having a diverse wellness program, and thinking of if you're not including those other components in terms of, financial well-being and career development and other areas where employees are feeling stressed, think about implementing those or somehow getting that campaign as part of what you're doing now, depending on your current wellness offering. An office environment. We're not physically in the office together right now, but I know a lot of employers are planning for when that day comes, and I know we're all excited for when that day comes. Well, some of us are, some of us aren't. Just happy to be at home. But in terms of the office environment, have it be open and collaborative and comfortable to allow employees to have the freedom to move around. I know a lot of workplaces that allow their employees to choose where they work. So again, that sense of empowerment in all areas of the workplace I think have shown that, again, the happiness and engagement has gone up as employees have more freedom and choice. And again, I think we can all admit that we're sitting more than we used to. Sleep averages have gone down, screen usage has gone up. So really encouraging employees to take screen breaks, to go for walking meetings. Hydration challenges are one thing. Sleep challenges are on the rise as well in terms of motivating employees in creative ways to get more sleep and to decrease stress. And also the hiring and onboarding process. Again, it's not just, having a wellness program and letting it kind of, do its thing, but we have to be thinking of our hiring and onboarding and, hire based on company culture, but also explaining the company culture to employees. And I'm seeing more and more creative ideas with new welcome packages and swag that employees are getting, cool water bottles, and even some wellness related things in the welcome kit already. But be creative. It can be tied to your brand as a company, but that's another way of exciting, engaging employees. And there's a lot here. I realize I've got a minute left, so take some ideas from this slide, and I think the slides will be available as well after. But I really think that communication is important. And I know a lot of people are feeling Zoom fatigue and going meeting to meeting and feeling like they're, on the screen a lot, but have that touch point with your employees. Encourage your HR business partners to be reaching out to the company leaders, to be, leading by example, but engaging in effective and meaningful communication with employees and touching base to see how they're doing. I can't stress that enough. So really open communication as well. And I do think that, improving engagement involves a variety of factors. And the most important thing to keep in mind is it's not going to happen overnight. And it is more than just setting up, occasional fun activities for employees and wellness challenges. Engagement has to become a core piece of your company at every level. And you, as a leader, can be the change by leading by example and by informing employees what's at their fingertips, and by empowering and engaging leaders to also lead by example with their own team so that it becomes contagious. The fun factor with the wellness becomes contagious. The excitement in the company becomes contagious. There's a different buzz, even though we are online. And that's apparent in, let's say, the social wall of the wellness program. But it can happen even though we are virtual. And these, again, are just some ideas that I'm touching on. And these are times of change, but I do believe that the more we invest in our own health, the more other people will see that around us and will follow suit.